Hi, I'm Diana and I'm in the Ethnics 110 class at 12:30 to 3:15. So, this is my final basically, and I'm going to be doing a video on my family and like my history. So, the person that I interviewed was my mom. And so, I think for my mom, I think that she was like my inspiration because I really love her, obviously, and also her way of working so hard and always like looking forward on life is so inspiring for me personally. My mom has always been there for me, has always been there for my brother, and despite what life threw at her, like she stood back up and she was like that woman that wouldn't give up. So that's why I chose her. So while talking to my mom, I found out so many different things about her that I didn't know before. I learned a lot about the lifestyle that Mexico has. So basically the lifestyle that majority of the people have, majority of civilians have, is having to find ways to survive because it's very difficult to make a living through jobs. A lot of the time, older people are seen as weak or they're not given the opportunity to work because they're seen like they cannot work as hard as someone that's like 20 years younger than them. And also like even young people, like they are forced to work really hard for very low wages. So many people often like go out on the streets and they sell whatever they're good at. So if they're good at cooking, they'll cook like quesadillas, they'll cook any sort of food that will get the money, or they'll sell like, I don't know, hand woven baskets, different things. And it's very interesting how people are able to survive through these little things and how people get to surpass these challenges because the government is pretty corrupt and doesn't really help boost the economy. It doesn't help anyone of the civilians that pay their taxes, and instead they're always like doing things to make their lifestyle worse. I think that the government's pretty corrupt and definitely needs to have better laws that prevent these issues from occurring. And I definitely think that it's sad, and that's why my mom wanted to move my brother and I to the US so that we can have a better life. So my mom also watched the documentary of like Jose Vargas when he was talking about like his undocumented experience and how he felt, and I definitely agree with his point of view because I see it all the time. As a person who was undocumented, who came here to the United States, I sometimes feel the way he felt. I currently have my green card, which definitely helps me now, but beforehand I didn't. And sometimes I feel out of place because what my friends can do, I can't do. So this coming the election that just passed, I was so concerned. I was like, oh my god, Donald Trump is going to do something, and I don't know, like I'm gonna be sent back to Mexico. And I literally don't know anything about Mexico. I was basically raised in the US and I don't know anything other than the US. So if I were to go to Mexico, academically, I'd be below average because I don't know the language. I don't know how to read, write in Spanish. And I would just be I would be in a very unfortunate situation. But that's crazy how a single person that is in power can make the rest of people feel like they are less than others when it's not true. And I would consider myself pretty American because if I go to Mexico, everyone's gonna say I'm whitewashed, which that's also another thing. I think that it's important to stop putting people in categories, because people are different, and obviously I embrace my Latino side, but there are also things that I have like gained through like living in the US for like such a long time. I have basically adopted most of the ideology here, and the things that do stay with me is like my traditions, like my Mexican traditions. And it's funny because I'm not from here nor there. While my mom and I were watching the Antonio Vargas like documentary, he said something about, I think like there was a white guy, and then he was saying that it's super easy to get like visas and be able to come to the United States legally, when that is not true. It takes years for people to get their green cards. It takes years for people to be able to move to the United States. It's not as easy as it seems. It's a long process. And it's difficult because people are trying to escape their governments. People are trying to escape everything. This world is crazy, and people are trying to run away, but it's not as easy as saying, I need to get out of here, so please give me a green card, America, because they won't just hand you a green card. It takes a long time, and people are desperate. They need to get out of these situations because they could end up badly if they don't. People want to reach their goals, and it's important to help them out, which it's not as easy as saying, hand me a green card. And I hope that made sense, but basically we were just bonding about that. We were saying that we felt what he was saying, and it really touched us. I really liked the documentary, and she loved it as well, and she felt like she can relate to a lot of the things he said. And yeah, and that's it. This is my final, and I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks, Professor. Bye.